Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something clicked. I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it. And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist.
This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening.
It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session. I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay. So, do you have any parts that you'd like to get to know better, change your relationship with?
Yes.
Anything? Okay.
Yeah. There's this, the one that's coming up just lately. It's just it's constant, is the scared avoidant part. I have the scared avoidant part that it's always been there since childhood, but I told you that I'm at the tail end of recovering from a 10-year bout of Lyme disease. And since I started in the last year, I had dramatic gains in my health. My cognitive functioning improved, my physical, everything. But this avoidant, scared part is just keeping me in the mindset of a sick person still. And even though it was there before I was sick, I have this other part, this perfectionist, high performing part, high achieving part that just was would run the show. And that one can no longer, I don't know what happened in the last 10 years, but if it was the illness, if it's just, I don't know. I keep trying to figure out what happened, but that high achieving, push through part no longer can overcome this avoidant, scared part. And so I'm finding myself really, really frustrated and having a hard time engaging in life again. And it's really scary because this is not how I know myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I'm hearing a few parts. So the avoidant, scared part is keeping you in the sick mindset. And then there used to be a kind of high performing part that was able to overcome that and keep you on task, keep you focused on whatever it was you're focusing on. And now, well, you might call it another part, has this kind of frustration with all of it, but sounds like mostly with this avoidant, scared part.
Yes. And yeah, I find myself trying to find all these strategies to kind of try and trick it into like I tried, I've gotten into exercise lately and had some remarkable gains. For example, I'm running 2 miles a day now and I started in May with 1 block. It's pretty much homebound and, not hardly leaving, especially since COVID. It got worse by being at home. And then, so I started in May with just walking 1 block and kept adding on, then got up to like 2 to 3 miles, 4 miles walking. And then for the last month now, I've been running. And so I thought, well, if I prove to my system that I'm physically able to run again after 12 years of not being able to run, then I can prove to myself that I'm okay and I should be able to just carry on with life. And, but this is not a thing that happened during the Lyme disease. It was there long before Lyme disease, but now it's just like I said, it's just scary.
Yeah. And in your IFS work before, had you already worked with this part?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep. It's it looks like, so when I'm at home, I start feeling, so I have this low grade anxiety most of the time, a lot of the time. And then I'm at home, and when I think about doing just a really benign task, I feel anxiety, overwhelmed, and this part literally has me retreat and lay down in my bed, even if I'm not tired.
Yeah. Okay. And in your IFS work with it, what have you noticed about it? What have you learned about it? Does it have an age? Does it have specific kind of messages that it's shared with you and that you've been able to connect?
No, not too much. No, not too much of that. I just know that it developed sometime in childhood, and that I have, trauma, religious trauma, and just, general disconnection from emotional connection from parents and being the oldest and having a lot of responsibility, perfectionism. So I know I kind of have a general idea of how and why it came about, but I don't really have, I think what you're asking is different. Like, I don't feel like I have a good relationship with it.
Right.
Like I understand it and I can intellectualize it, but it doesn't go beyond that much.
Okay. Would you say that it has kind of exile energy?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's scared and I get really frustrated and upset. And when I do the somatic work, the somatic meditation, I'm finding myself, even during the crying for, I don't even know why I'm crying. It's just a crying out of frustration. And sometimes, and that even happens during the day. Sometimes, like, I'll be running and I'll just feel this overwhelming frustration. And I just start crying, and I know that this is like really, really old, something that I never dealt with.
Yeah.
But I'm not, and I know that it, like I said, but I don't really know how to, what to do with it so that I can heal it.
Right. Okay. And the frustration, does it feel like it comes from that part, or does it feel like it's kind of frustration directed at the part?
Both.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a frustration with like, this is like, I have this part of me that's really inspired and I'm really have a lot of talents and like to do all kinds of things. I've done so many things in my life that I've enjoyed, and those things I have since recovering from Lyme, I have no desire to do anything. it's like the running, the exercise running thing has been like a miracle that I could even get myself to do that, because I know that it's going to help. But it's just, I thought, well, this will connect over into other areas of my life if I can get myself physically active, but it's not really happening so much that way.
Yeah. 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 I can see why that would be frustrating.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. Okay.
And I try to explain this to people and they don't get it because it doesn't make sense. It's like my brain is functioning, my body is functioning, my health is really good. I'm at the end of treatment. So, but it's not unfolding the way I feel like it should.
Yeah. Yeah. You're explaining it to non-IFS people, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
We'll try a different approach, and maybe that will be helpful. Now, I do kind of have a policy about, being very cautious, especially when there's exiles that are coming up first. That it's very important to check with the protectors around the exile to get permission, to make sure that they trust you to work with that exile. So it's pretty unusual that I will, suggest in a first conversation with someone, even if you've already done some of the IFS work, I'll usually, look for the protectors around that and try to get to know them first.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Does that sound okay with you?
Yeah. It's totally up to you.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't have any particular fear. I know that I've been seeing a somatic therapist since February on a biweekly basis. And so I have like the anxiety. I've really come a long way with anxiety because I had severe anxiety last winter, seemed to come out of nowhere. That was like a new thing after my Lyme was so much better. Then I got severe anxiety. But now I know that severe anxiety is like a exaggeration of anxiety I've had my whole life. But the point is that, I've been like, went through a lot, and, I'm not scared of you do whatever you feel comfortable with and see as best.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look for the parts that are protecting, which often looks like pushing away this kind of exile part. So one of them sounds like the high performer part.
Yes.
So that could be one that we could kind of talk to, get to know, learn about that. Are there other parts that feel like they are kind of more interested in not working with this exile part? Parts that might be. Well,
so this, are you assuming that this, because I don't know, is this avoidant scared part? Is that an exile?
Well, I was asking you, what you thought. And so when you first described it, as you were describing it, yes, to me, I'm thinking sounds pretty exile-y. You talked about it, originating in childhood. You talked about it. You talked just about the emotionality around it, which sounds like kind of emotional responses that we have around exiles.
Yeah.
So I was kind of assuming that, and then I asked you what you thought, and you said yes. So that's
okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure. I didn't ever identify it as that. I just know that it's a scared avoidant part. So I was like, I get it.
It might not be, but I think it'd be better safe than sorry. Better to talk to those parts that are probably pushing back at it first.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. So I have a high achiever, high performing, can this part, oh man, this part, like if people that know me before I got Lyme disease, they'd be like, in my family, I was like, Wonder Woman, I could do anything I put my mind to. And this part is just like knows how to, is very strategic and could even be manipulative which is something I saw recently, but I had to like kind of be manipulative in order to get through what I got through in childhood. Mm-hmm. But it worked for me. So I just kept doing it. And I don't mean manipulative in a necessarily a bad way. It's just more like a problem solving way. Like I can, like in the worst of crisis, I can get myself out of it and help other people get through crises. Yeah. And so thus I became a teacher, and I've helped hundreds of people healing from Lyme disease and help them, over these years, that's kind of what kept me going, was helping other people with Lyme. Yeah. With chronic Lyme. So yeah, this high achiever part, is very motivated, is very perfectionistic, is very demanding, is very, don't tell me what I can't do because I'll find a way to do it. Definitely don't tell it what it can't do, because it will find a way. Yeah, no limits. Which even makes it more frustrating, because it's like this other part is like, no, you can't do that. It's just like, what is going on? I could always push through and find, and even when in the past, when I dealt with anxiety, depression, and crises in my life, I'm not saying, I found a way to get through it. You know what I mean? Like a survivor. It's like the survivor type part. Yeah. And not only that, people know me to be like this. People know me to be this part to be really strong, to be like, oh my gosh, you want Aandraya? She has everyone's back. Don't mess with her. You want me on your side. Because like as a teacher, like if I taught in the public schools, 7th grade for 15 years in the Chicago public schools. Don't even mess with Miss Aandraya. No. I was going to say, don't even attempt to be like bullying someone in the class, because it's just not going to happen. No. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you kind of get the picture. Yes. And I would like to hear, or see if you can hear directly from this part more, if that's okay with you. Yeah. All right. So we'll start by finding it in or around your body. See if you can locate. One more thing I wanted to tell you about the part. Sure. And that is that even though this part has pushed me to achieve many things, like I never had a feeling of satisfaction or that it was enough. Yeah. So multiple degrees, I can speak multiple languages. I've traveled, like it's like no satisfaction, no feeling of accomplishment. And definitely it was never enough. Interesting. We'll learn about that more, hopefully, too. Okay. So where do you notice it in or around your body? This high achieving part is, it's like this, I think it's really kind of feel like it's in my head. Okay. And is there a kind of, what other qualities does it have? Does it have a kind of a vibrational or a color or a push or a pull feeling about it? It has a push feeling, and it's just kind of like, intensity, pushing, like, a bit of a like in my body. I don't know if this is, I don't know. It's kind of, I got some, like, I can feel like some vibrating inside my body in general. But I can feel this a lot in my face. I get this tension in my face, in my head. I get pretty regular migraines. I think this might be part of that.
Interesting. Okay. All right. And how do you feel towards it now as you notice it there?
It's just tiresome. It's kind of relentless, you know. It's just really it's the sensation of not being able to do enough. It's not ever
satisfied.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So there's some
And
frustration
just,
or some.
There's no relax. There's no sense of like chilling out and just like not doing anything. It's just wants to be. It has to be like productive at every moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense that there's a part of you that's just kind of tired of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Great. So see if you can turn to that part that's tired of it and ask it for some space so that you can get to know this hardworking part and just see how it responds.
Okay.
Feels like it was able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks to that part. And now how are you feeling towards the high achieving part?
Well, I just feel kind of, grateful that it's just, allowed me to do a lot of things in life. Even help me get through Lyme disease.
Yeah.
Got me to this point,
Yeah.
So there's I feel grateful for that, because I've done some pretty cool and fun things in my life.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and there's also some disappointment that it couldn't really enjoy. It couldn't be content with just whatever that achievement was, be it big or small. It was sort of immediately dismissed and put in the background, and then it's on to the next thing. Because
so that disappointment is coming from the high achieving part itself. It's feeling disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it sounds like you're feeling curious about getting to know it. Is that right?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So just let it know that you're curious about it.
Okay.
And you can just ask it to tell you whatever it wants you to know.
It's tired.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It's exhausted, and that's why I just can't. It just is having a hard time getting going now, even though I'm feeling better. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you can just let it know that you see that. You see how tired it is. You see how frustrated it is with being tired, with not being able to do its
And it's also disappointed. It's like that it can't really in those things that it used to be good at and enjoy. It's not really doesn't really feel like doing those things anymore because it's just overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you feel towards it as you learn this about it?
Well, it makes me feel I feel bad, you know. I just feel like it's really unfortunate that it can't feel that satisfaction.
Yeah.
Because other people like get so much acknowledgement from others, but it's like
yeah. So just let it know that you see the struggle, the pain that it's enduring, and that just that you recognize that.
It just got too exhausted. Okay.
Yeah. Just let it know you see that.
Yeah. Okay.
And how do you feel about it sharing more? I mean, it sounds like it's kind of emotional. So, you know, if it feels like it's going to be overwhelming to you, you can ask it to not overwhelm you. But if you're feeling okay with just letting it share more and just tell you more about its experience,
Okay.
just go ahead and ask it about its experience, about its job.
It's it could it's I see that it's connecting with something about some of these headaches that I've been getting for a very long time. Since like even in high school, I would remember, I was getting some headaches, and it's just that intensity, the intensity.
Yeah. So it's showing you that it's showing you that it is connected to that.
Yeah. The intensity, like my intensity level is bringing on these headaches. And that it's like I can also see that when it gets a little bit of relief, the intensity level comes down, that it brings on some of the tension, this tension in my body, in my head and shoulders and neck.
So when it gets relief, it brings the tension in your neck goes up.
It's like that's when I notice it. And
is this all making sense to you, these connections that it's showing you?
Yeah.
Great. Let it know that makes sense to you. It sounds like it's worked very hard to do what it does and to get your attention.
Yeah.
You could try asking what it's concerned would happen if it didn't work so hard, if it didn't do what it does to get your attention that way.
Okay. Well, it's if it's like it already happened. It's saying like it already has happened because I got so sick. It I w- it would I would just shut down. I wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
I would just kind of dissolve.
So it's seeing its job, or part of its job is to keep you from dissolving and to keep you from being sick. Maybe it feels like that when you were sick, it was, or when you have been sick, that it's.
Yeah, it was trying. It was helping me. It was trying to, I can just see it was like, yeah, it made me okay. It was what was driving me to seek out all these treatments and go down all these different rabbit holes. But it also helped me to find Dr. Jumsuck in DC, who's the guy that I've been seeing now for 9 years, who's just gotten, it was like a miracle. And he like this part. So if I didn't have this part, if this part wasn't doing that job, I'd probably still be sick with Lyme disease.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you can just show it some appreciation for all its hard work and trying to keep you going.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to make if it wasn't there, I wouldn't have been able to make a difference in other people's lives.
Yeah.
It thinks that I would just be like, I'd just be surviving. Barely, barely surviving if it wasn't doing this. That's what it's showing me.
Yeah. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious about one.
And and it's even saying it's even saying like, oh yeah, you would have just been in trouble as a kid.
Interesting.
Because you had, I had to get the,
I just want to remind you that whatever it's sharing with you, you don't have to share with me.
Okay.
So if it has memories, and sometimes these memories are really painful, they're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And what's important is that you're witnessing them with the part. And I'm happy to hear them. I'm not trying to push you away here. But, if there's things that it's showing you that you want to not share, that it doesn't want you to share, then just respect that.
Okay. No, what it was showing me was that, it really, I wouldn't have sort of like, I wouldn't have been able to please my parents or something if, in school and in life, if it wasn't doing its job.
Yeah. So it's been working hard for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. I noticed a word that you used earlier that I'm guessing came from this part. It's mentioned dissolving. Like that was something that it was trying to prevent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I would just fade away, dissolve, and just cease to exist if it wasn't
yeah, if it didn't do what it does.
Right. Okay. So it's sort of like the driving force of my life.
Yeah. Okay. And so can you just, again, show appreciation for that, for its intention in keeping you from dissolving?
Yeah. It's yeah, it's gotten me through a lot of difficult times.
Yeah. And is it receiving that appreciation? Are you able to show that to it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I want to tell it. It doesn't. And I've tried to do this, I think, before, to sort of like let it know that it doesn't need to be that way anymore. If that makes sense. But because I know that those things, that doesn't work it doesn't work to do that, to carry on like that in life. And so, but I don't know if that's possible to let it know that.
Yeah, well, we can offer it options. We can give it information about your current life, and we can offer it options.
Okay.
And really, I think in our effort to persuade any of these parts, it has to come from a place of listening first, curiosity, of understanding.
Okay.
Because what they're used to being pushed around and being told not to do what they do, and that just is a never-ending cycle.
Like a resistance, right?
Yeah, sure. Because I'm sure there are parts of, I think we just heard from one, there's parts of you that resist this part, and then there's this part resisting another part, and it's all a system of kind of tensions, which is normal, it's natural.
Right.
But the goal here can be to kind of bring them more in alignment, at least with self.
Right.
Even if not with each other. They don't all have to get along with each other, but can you form that relationship of communication, of respect, and kind of earning their trust and earning that kind of authority with them so that they come to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like my students, like when students wouldn't get along, I would like to be able to be diplomatic with these parts so that they could just coexist.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much like that.
Yeah. Coexist and just be okay and not so intense, not so extreme.
Yeah. So we can ask it some more questions. We could ask it what it would rather be doing with its energy inside of you if it didn't have to work so hard to make those feelings of dissolving go away.
It can't. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It would rather be focusing in on the areas that are most important to me. And it's not really sure. It's so, we're doing this for so long. I think it's not really sure what
else to do.
Like
and that's
how to tone it down so that,
sure.
I can tell you from myself, but it doesn't really.
Yeah. But just, so two things. One is that it doesn't have to change. It also doesn't have to change roles. A lot of parts, let's say this part, it feels like it's connected with these migraines. Well, it might just want to turn it down. It might not want a different job, but just to be able to perhaps for example, communicate without the migraines, or to not feel so overwhelmed by this anxious part.
It would like to, okay, here it is. It would like to be doing things like it knows how to do, but not feel pressured and not feel so driven to do them without the satisfaction. It would just like to be able to be okay with whatever it does. And that's like fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not with a, like not with any with any kind of agenda, except
Right.
for just for the sake of doing it.
Right. And so it's been contending with these kind of feelings of like what it's doing is never enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wants
And
to
you might
just be content. Like, hey, I just want to do some things that are cool and just like, oh, that's just cool to do it. Not have to be like, and just be completely content.
Right.
And yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think that
It's exhausted, you know?
Right. Through this work, ideally the goal is to be able to go to any parts that don't feel like they're enough and recognize them and appreciate them and love them. And then they, you've proven it. You're enough. So that's kind of the idea, is you can do that with this part, but you can also do it with other, again, exile parts that it's protecting, the feeling of having to please mom and dad or whatever, those parts, to be able to go to them and heal them. So
right.
It just doesn't have to work so hard.
Right.
You could try asking it how old it thinks you are.
Yeah, I can see one more thing. It also can see that it protects me from not feeling when you mentioned the exile part, like, so not feeling like I'm not enough, like it's like I'm not worthy, because that's my thing, is like, oh, I'm just have this like, narrative that I'm not worthy. That's why obviously this part is doing that.
Yes, and that's more than your thing. It's the hallmark of exiles in all of us.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, it's pretty universal.
It really is. It is.
Okay. Yeah.
See if you can find out how old it thinks you are.
I don't know. It's anywhere between like 8 to 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Around there.
Mm-hmm. That's probably when it had to become extra active.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just update it on your real age.
Okay. I'm like, no, I'm 55. Okay.
And again, kind of the purpose of that is to let it know that you can go help that 8-year-old. It thinks it's helping you, the 8-year-old, but you're able to show it that you're not the 8-year-old. There is one.
Wait,
and you can
say that again.
You can help it. I know. Tripping over my words here. So this high achieving part thinks that you're 8.
Right. Okay.
And it has good reason to, because there is an 8-year-old in there that is hurting or was hurt or doesn't feel like it's enough. You're letting this part know that that's not you. You're not the 8-year-old. You're the 55-year-old.
Right.
And you can go help the 8-year-old also. Being who you are now.
Okay.
You're able to do what it thinks it needed to do.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just catching it up with the current times.
So letting it know.
Just your age. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Mm-hmm. And then you could ask what it needs from you going forward. If it could have anything, what would it like from you?
Patience.
Mm-hmm.
It's wanting patience, that it's little steps. It's saying just a little bit at a time, right? To learn, because it doesn't want to, it's like it can't change overnight, it's saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's been doing this for a long time, and it's to trust you to do this other work, that's going to take time for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we're not going to push past any of these protective parts.
Okay.
Because getting to know them is just as important as getting to know the young exiles.
Okay.
You could ask it how it feels about that kind of prospect of you going to those other parts, to those exile parts. Does it trust you to do that? Not necessarily in this conversation, but just how does it feel about you doing that?
Okay, let me ask it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's saying, yeah, it definitely wants me to go to those. So I'm laughing because it wants me to go to those exiled parts and just to heal them.
Yeah.
They are like, oh yeah, it's saying, yeah, and they totally need some attention.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. There wasn't even a pause.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's time.
Great. Yeah, and just see what else it might need from you. You might ask it about the migraines.
Yeah, okay. Okay. It's just it's really acknowledging me for really doing some work in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
The decrease in my migraines and the intensity. It's been remarkable.
Yeah.
Also, it's saying like I want to ask it like what it is with why have they started for a while now. When they come, I wake up with them in the morning, which isn't necessarily an old pattern.
Yeah. You ask it whatever you want. If it's coming from a place of love, curiosity, then
Okay. That was a very stressful time in my past. Mornings were, yeah, I never saw that. Okay. Mornings were definitely stressful.
mm-hmm.
Oh, been trying to figure that out for a while now.
There you go. There you go.
Oh
It's
my
incredible.
God. I know. It's like, oh yeah. Like, yeah, it was quite stressful as growing up in the mornings for many reasons.
Yeah.
But it didn't make sense to me because I've been getting migraines since my 30s, and they were never necessarily like waking up with them. And that's been kind of a new thing in the last year and a half. Mostly always when I get them now, it's when I wake up with them.
Yeah. And the more it can show you about that, like if it has more specific kind of memories, you know, that sometimes can help paint the picture for like where you might find those exiles to work with in the future. So it might say like, you know, the mornings were really hard in this very specific time of your life. And so just asking it for more details about the picture and what it looked like.
Yeah, I can see. Well, yeah, I can see certain things, you know, that were occurring. You know, having to wake up early, and my dad was a stickler about getting out of bed, get up. You know, it was like, you know, and I wasn't a morning person, so it was just getting up was always been a struggle for me. And then, you know, I have my parents getting mad at me, and then. So there was that. And then there was always a worry in the mornings because are we going to be late for school or church or whatever it is? Yeah. That's what the kind of stress was in the mornings. It was, yeah. And then in my adult life, it turned into like, oh, waking up for work. You know, it was a big challenge for me waking up for, you know, I mean, a lot of people have that challenge, right? But it's always been there.
Yeah. And I think it's safe to say that, you know, even if everybody dealt with the same, you know, going to school, waking up to go to school at a certain time or whatever, it doesn't mean it wasn't kind of traumatizing too, you know, like
it's totally traumatizing
when your body needs sleep and there's an alarm screaming in your ear, and you know,
it was totally traumatizing too, with my dad like screaming down, opening my door and screaming in there. Yeah I can see how he projected his issues with us, my brothers and I, you know, getting out of bed. Yeah. I mean, to this day, I have stress in the mornings. It's interesting. Very interesting, because now I just saw too, I've never had anxiety in the mornings until this last year. Literally almost like exactly a year ago. It started in around October, November. I started waking up with anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's calmed down a bit now, but it's still happening. It's super annoying. So if it's not like if I don't have the migraine when I wake up, I'll have anxiety. It'll be anxiety. So I get to choose.
Well, it sounds like this part has been choosing, right? I mean, it's already informed you that it has worked very hard, and it's been connected to the migraines in preventing this sick feeling, this stay in bed feeling, right, that mindset. And so it sounds like, I mean, maybe I'm assuming too much, but yeah, the system is flipping a coin of which way to feel today, and which part's going to win out.
Right, because neither of them allow me to go back to sleep. So if it's a migraine, like they happened this morning, they're not that bad. So I don't even want to really complain. But this morning I woke up with one at like 6:30, I had to get up. It was bad enough, so I had to get up and take something for it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple therapies that I do. I have a migraine pill, and then so I like literally had to get up I was wide awake for a while, and then and if I don't have a migraine, then I'll wake up at whatever time, but I have to deal with anxiety for about the first, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes when I wake up.
Yeah. Okay.
It's weird. Okay.
So how's it feeling now, just with being with this part and having done this work? How's that kind of feeling? I know we didn't get to, what you originally had brought up, but just
that's okay.
in your dealing with this part, how's it all feeling?
Well, it really feels good because I really got to know it much better.
Yeah.
The benefits of it, the exhaustion of it, it's like, wow, we really want a break here.
Yeah.
Whatever other parts are related to that part, they're like, okay, we're done. We've had enough.
Okay. Your audio has gotten really bad in the past couple minutes.
Let me see if I'm.
Oh, it's great now.
I moved a little bit. Is that better?
Yep. It's back to perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so I have 2 suggestions, take them or leave them, kind of prescriptions, ways to work with this part going forward.
Mm-hmm.
One is just to let it know that if you intend to, if you'd like to keep doing IFS, and I'm happy to keep working with you or work with whoever, that you do want to get to those other parts, so just let it know that is your intention, but until you are able to kind of visit each of those parts in that system, you can only expect so much for one of them to change. So you can just kind of let it know that you will be taking those baby steps that it was suggesting, and that you do want to get to those other parts. And then the other is just to check in with this part going forward, like especially around those times with the migraines. If this part is connected to the migraines, then if that happens again, just return to it and see if you can check in with it. Maybe remind it of your conversation that you had today with it. Ask it what it needs from you.
Okay.
And that can all happen in 30 seconds. I mean, it doesn't have to be a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But just kind of keep that path cleared of communication between you and this part.
Okay. Yeah, I can see even now it's just like kind of feeling so much relief.
Yeah.
It's like this sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God, she's finally
you're going to the source.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of relief there. Like, okay, you're on the right track.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a good feeling, to feel like you're on the right track. You may not, it's maybe a long journey, but at least
right.
you're,
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think it's the right track. But yes. I could be biased. Okay. Any other questions? Any parts have any concerns? Is there any more that you want to communicate with this part while you have its attention?
No, I just let it know that, I'm going to continue to do this work and to check in, with it regularly.
Yeah.
Especially, when I'm getting stressed and I'm feeling that like I'm feeling this, the sensations in my face and any kind of headache or shoulder, neck pain.
Yep. It's just trying to get your attention, and you just can ask it what it wants you to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool. Well, if you
Ask
want to
it,
keep doing this
ask it
work
what
with
it wants
me,
me to know. Yeah. Yeah, for
then you
sure.
can-
I do.
You can use that same link to book more time. If you don't find a time that works for you, or if it, just let me know, and now I can make more time.
Okay. Thank you so much, James.
Thank you. It's fun.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's cool.
Hope to do
Very
it again
cool.
sometime.
Okay. All right.
Okay, have
I
a good
will go
night.
on there and book. Thank you. Good night.
Great.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.